Mr. Froto?
What, Sam?
What's the answer to this question?
Oh, Sam, I can't help you.
What is it attracts in Nick anyway? It's nothing unnatural, is it?
Gentlemen, might I remind you that there be no cheating on this final exam, or you shall not pass!
Good morning, students. Welcome to school. Remember, the thought of the day is...
I don't know. It's the goofball chair,
That's the goofball chair normally.
Nice.
That's usually where I sit.
Right.
But they wanted me in the middle today.
Slide over there, Rudy. I think you're good. Okay.
Hello, America.
Hi.
Thank you for
Are
watching.
you recording?
Yes.
Ready? Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
ahead.
Welcome to Ecology 101, the study of the nerd and geek in their natural habitat. I'm Gary.
I'm John.
It's Rudy.
Woo.
And we are the Knights Who Say Geek. All right. Today we are doing a Facebook Live today, so nobody freak out, right?
Or you can if you want.
You can freak out.
If you
Just
want
let
to
us
freak
know.
out, it's all right.
We'll comfort you.
Totally
We'll
going
console
Hollywood
you.
right now.
Right.
And I'm going intellectual.
Nice. Today, right. Today we are going to talk
Tell
to.
us a story, Grandpa.
Well, tell me a story about the good old days. So today we're going to be talking to our friend and compatriot John Pepe.
I'm not their friend.
Okay, he's not my friend. He's nemesis or something like that.
Acquaintance?
Acquaintance, yes. A participant in this podcast, and he's going to talk a little bit about his book.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a copy of your book today?
I think Ron has one,
Ron's
right?
got a copy. Pass it down, man.
Ron's got an official signed copy.
Oh,
He
the
does.
official site. So
Yeah.
John's book, The Lone Wolf, he just got that published on
Amazon.
Amazon. There it is.
Yep,
It's floating.
look at
It's a fantasy book, so it does fly. Beautiful. Good job. Yes, very nice.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah. And so this is your first novel that you put out. We want to talk to him a little bit about today about your book.
Yes.
And so tell us what's your background. This is a what's your genre? What's your background? In all
My
this?
genre and background is fantasy, epic high fantasy. So
Okay.
you're talking about sort of classic epic high fantasy, sort of like Lord of the Rings kind
gotcha.
of.
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
That's what it's actually based on.
Right,
Dungeons
right.
and Dragons.
Is there any dragons in this book?
Not in this one, but in
they're
future
coming.
books.
Oh,
but
there
I
you
do
go.
talk about realms.
Oh, Rudy's
No,
favorite word.
I don't. Rudy hates the word. If you
Realms.
say
Don't use the word realms.
That's it. Oh my gosh, scare him off right away. Well, there you go.
Where are you
That's
going
not
with
your
that?
genre.
That's
I
a
don't know.
Writer's Digest.
That's a right, good magazine. There you go. The sponsor for today.
Yes. So it's
Future sponsor, Writer's Digest.
We got a lot of future sponsors. If you're out there, look us up.
Yes, exactly.
Right. But anyway, so you have a well. It's funny when I first met John. He told me that one of his favorite things to do with his buddies is
Play Dungeons and Dragons. In fact,
There
I
you go.
played yesterday.
oh, there you go.
That's yeah.
I still got my sword with me.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, you're missing out on life. Maybe not, but I'm gonna say you are. What are you doing, Ron? Oh, look at him.
Promoting the book. There you
Look at
go.
that.
Hey, stop following my book, man. Oh, it's your book. Never
It's
mind.
your
You
book,
can follow
right.
it if you want.
So you have background in this, and so fantasy
Yes.
has been your thing, huh? For a long time?
Yes. So this was actually like a dungeon. It comes from a Dungeons and Dragons adventure that I ran and played in.
Okay.
And so these characters are characters that my friends and I, a couple of them, my rogues, we've been playing for years since we were like in our early 20s.
Oh.
And I just thought, I'm going to write a book about this.
Very good. So you had time to develop all these characters.
Kind of. I mean, you know, when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you don't get deep into character development.
What's my angst?
Yeah, exactly. No, none of that. You don't do that. You're just like, let's go kill stuff.
Got it. Action, right?
Yeah, it's
no
all
depth
action.
to them.
Very little depth, yes.
Right,
We
gotcha.
had some basic personalities there, but
Yeah. Very good.
so
Well, can you tell us? This is always fun. Your elevator speech. So tell us
God,
your premise. I know he likes it, but you got to be able to do it on the fly, man.
okay.
With enthusiasm.
So there's a young ranger. He finds out that there's a horde of orcs coming to tear up his village, basically, and he goes back to his village, and nobody believes it's going to happen, and they finally realize it's gonna, and that horde of orcs ends up attacking a big town that his village has to run to. He has some tragic things happen. It sort of shakes his faith, his already sort of shaky faith in his goddess. There's some elements of racism in there that he starts to feel towards these orcs and ogres that have attacked his or run through his village and then attacked a town that he's in. And there's another set of characters, my rogues, Kaladin and Quinn, who end up in this town because they're sort of always running from the law. And they end up sort of inserting themselves into this situation, trying to protect the town. And they get hired to figure out who's behind these orc attacks. And they eventually have to hire Raments and his friends to figure out who's behind the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of everything. Get some detective work in there.
Yes, exactly. There's a little bit of mystery. There's a lot of sword play. There's martial arts.
And wordplay, right?
Wordplay, yes, definitely. A lot of big words.
Big words?
Yeah, there's love. No, there is no love in this. I don't write love stories, people. I'm not into that fantasy romance stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we love to do is kill.
Right.
Kill orcs.
That's right. And mess with people's
Yeah.
minds, right?
So there's magic. I mean, I feel like I'm Princess Bride. There's magic and giants and fighting.
Hey, what's wrong with that? That's awesome. That's
Anybody want a peanut?
Want a peanut?
Now I did. So when John first wrote his book, we've been talking about book projects, and I think I was one of your beta readers.
Yes, you were.
And so
Look, it says right here
what
in the back. You are in the. You didn't know that, ding dong.
Wow.
You didn't look at this in my. It says right here. Thank you,
I
the
haven't bought
Redlands
your
Red
book
Group, and my beta readers, Layla, Melinda, and Gary.
Oh, mine's got a big shine. Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome circle.
I know.
Wow. Wow. I feel like someone
You
things
feel like-
are going to start happening to me now.
That's right, because I mentioned you.
Anyways,
You did get a shout out.
I have a special
Yeah,
purpose.
exactly. Yeah, read my books.
That's what you'll do.
Yes,
If we're putting Jedi stuff in there, we can do that. But
you will read my books.
you will you will enjoy it. These are the books you're looking for. Anyways, so one of the things I enjoyed about, and I was telling you, it gave me a lot of elements of The Princess Bride because he has a lot of wordplay with Kaladin and Kaladin, right?
Kaladin.
Kaladin.
Yes.
I'm great on names. Anyways, and just,
Kaladin and Quinn are a little bit like Wesley.
yeah,
A little bit of.
I could see
Kaladin,
that.
Quinn sort of dresses like Wesley, and Kaladin kind of
Nice.
speaks like Wesley and fights like Wesley and is smart like Wesley.
Right, and they feed off each other, and how they, you mess with the medieval mind. People, right? They're like going, "What did I just get myself into?" Right? So, but then you have, you develop this whole orc culture, and which most people think they're monsters, but there's a lot more to them, right?
Yeah,
They
I
are
mean, there's
monsters.
some there are. A couple of the, I guess you would say, sort of standout characters are the ogre mage who don't, and this other general or the orc that becomes a general Mulgar. They use more of their intellect,
Yes.
as opposed to just brawn, as which. In the orc and ogre culture, it's more about how big, strong, and how much fighting prowess you have. And these two kind of use more of their intellect.
Which makes them different than everybody else and not always understood.
And that's how they're able to bring the orcs together and to use tactics against the humankind,
Right.
and dwarves or elves. or
Human
anybody else that they
ingenuity
want to take.
against
Yes,
the humans.
Exactly.
Wow,
So,
there you go. That's nice. Yeah, and then now you're Remnants, right?
Remnants.
Remnants is your main character. He's on an arc though. He's grown through this whole book.
Yes,
so
he's trying to. So yeah, he's kind of has this shaky faith in his goddess. So it's part of me sort of talking about those pockets of agnosticism that I've had in my life. With your belief in God, and when bad things happen to you, or you see bad things happening in the world, and sometimes you go, well, is there really a God? And so it's kind of that arc for him in his faith, and the unlikely character of Kaladin, who's the rogue, but he's a well-educated rogue, kind of brings him back to his faith by the end of the book.
Person you would expect to do that.
Yes,
Right.
which is the least exactly. You
Right.
wouldn't expect him to do that.
This
right?
man has morals. He does.
Yeah, he does. He's a thief with morals.
Right. Hey,
A
good
certain level of morals.
oxymorons.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So-
Not perfect. But
And then there's, he starts tapping into, well, I hate all orcs and I hate all ogres, but some of his best friends in this are half ogres, and
Right.
and his best friend is a half orc.
right.
So he has to, Kaladin kind of show him, like, just because something has that blood in them doesn't necessarily make them evil. So we get into that whole nature nurture thing
Right.
in the book. Yeah.
There's your racism begins, right? Deal with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking too with a genre like this. I mean, the whole world around the characters is
Not a realm, but a world.
yeah, it's
The
such a-
realm.
and the realms.
In the realms.
The environment is a huge focal point too, and when you're creating, the world that's around them. I mean, what inspirations did you take from that?
I take a lot of. I mean, I pull from all kinds of places, but my my general premise for my world is a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. So I really sort of, because I've been playing it for too long, 30, 35, 37, 38 years, something like that. And so I took from that basic model, and I'm adding things and changing things and morphing things in terms of my world building. So, I take their kind of their magic system, and then I change it up. I take sort of the creatures, and I'm going to change them up. So like this new book that I'm writing, I'm doing a lot more of that world building. Creating like the different type of elves that I'm going to have, the different types of dwarves that will be in there. And then how the magic system works, how the different cities interact with one another, just to give you a feel for, what this world is like. But this book is rife with politics, because that's, what do people usually fight over? Religion and politics.
Right.
So part of this is a political thing that you learn about when you read the book. With the guy who's behind all this, he's helping this regent kind of with his political aspirations, but the regent doesn't know about it, and that's why he hires the rogues to figure out who's behind the attack on the city. Yeah. And so it's I throw that in there because that's kind of a motivation for a lot of what happens in terms of the underpinnings or the dealings that you'll see for why people do what they do. So I have political motivations behind some of it. Yeah.
Right.
It's not always just greed and power, and the main villain in this is sort of Machiavellian. He doesn't want to be the main guy. He wants to control the main guy, right? So
puppet master.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
he wants to be the puppet master, and he's doing that with the Onai, or the ogre mage. And he's doing that with the regent.
Very
of the city.
Palpatine-ish,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, very.
Let's find out,
Exactly.
people. Ooh, what a show. Right?
My puppet.
Yes. Hey, so here's a question now. I think you went early on is, how much of the dwarfs, elves, and everything is so generic now that anyone can tap into it without offending Dungeons & Dragons? What is your...
Oh, yeah, so I've done a lot of... come on, Tolkien started.
Well,
all
yeah,
this.
exactly,
So
yeah.
It's kind of you taking it. I think it's always it's you kind of coming up with your take on things that are familiar, but then things that aren't. So, like in my world building, for example, I'm kind of pulling from history. I take sort of a little bit from Romanian history in my new book, kind of like what a name of the first lich, and I took that and I'm adding that. So, there's things in Norse myth, what they call dark elves or drow.
Tolkien did that
And then there's
too.
also trow, which, in my new world, trow are going to be like sort of dark elves, but they live in the swamp, so they live on the surface instead of underneath. So just different things like that. Different kinds of elves, wood elves, high elves.
Yeah.
And their relationship with each other, as well as their relationship with... And then I also have gray elves. So... and their relationship with humans and how they view them,
Right.
and who can be in their forest and who can't, and so I'm trying to build all of that relationship, and then the prejudices that you see, because I've got my new human character. One of my new human characters is a paladin. He kind of is looked down upon because this company of 6 in my new book. We're not talking about this one. He hangs out with dwarves and elves, and the humans kind of like, well, why do you hang out with that group?
Not your own kind.
Yes, exactly, that kind of thing.
Right.
And he has a broader view of the world.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
and that's kind of what you tap into here. I wanted to have a broader view of the races, and
Right.
that they can sort of coexist.
Right.
But then you start seeing some of the prejudices that come out when somebody from that other race does something to you, and you have to realize that it's not necessarily the race. You have to take each person individually, right?
Yes.
Not the race in and of itself.
generalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And generalize it, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Now, in this book, you have, I think, the only magical creatures, well, anything, are the orcs. Well, they're not magical.
no, there's one ogre mage.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and then Kaladin has
Right.
magical powers.
So you're just dabbling. So in this next one, you're going to be... So this guy can open into the world.
Yes, this is kind of just... I didn't do a lot of world building here.
Okay.
I just said, okay, this is kind of my new world. I'm going to kind of use this basic magic idea. And the next one is going to kind of delve into it and hopefully get in, because I got more.
Good.
Sorcerers, mages, and so the druids, but I have different names from, like arborists or druids. They've got thaumaturgists who are like sort of your mages who don't naturally absorb magic. And so like arborists hate thaumaturgists, even though they're not necessarily evil, because they drain nature because they can't give back. But then you have your sort of what I would call your I call the magic world like a tapestry. So you have your weavers, and those guys are natural. They're naturally tapped in. Right. So it's a little more. In the next book, it's going to be giving you a lot more, and then they have certain levels and like different tiers, and I have different names for them. You know, like neophytes and different names.
Using different language for it too,
so that you know what level that mage is at.
Sure.
So it gives you a better idea. But in this book, I didn't delve into that. I was just, I got to write this story, and then it morphed into like way longer than I ever thought it was going to be. I mean, it just kept going and going.
Yeah. Story told itself.
I thought it was going to be like a 7-page.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is going to be like a 7-page book, and everybody will be able to read
Red mage,
it.
blue mage.
1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new
There you go.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So the thing about it, now you also have a background in theater, right?
Yes.
How much is that in playing your book?
Okay, so, and I've talked about this too. Like, it's, when I was 18, I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
No.
A thespian.
I would never guess that one.
Yes. And so, when that little dream fails, because you realize Hollywood doesn't really, they're not really knocking down your door, no
They only love the beautiful people.
Exactly. And I was like, why don't you love me? Are you saying I'm not beautiful, Hollywood?
Yes. That was a quick yes
Dun, dun, dun.
from all
At
the
this
producers.
moment, we'll have
Down, man. They haven't seen my stuff yet.
They even had
warming up.
microphones just for that. They're like, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
That
Is this
answer
on?
is yes.
Did you hear me? Yes. Yeah. So I think when you do a book, you get to, and the thing that I love, because I did a little bit of community theater, a lot of theater at church. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed not only doing the characters, but when I was able to do the characters the way that I saw them, or I could work with the director on things. And as a writer, you kind of get to do all of that. You get to decide where the characters are going to go. You get to decide. So you're writing the script, you're directing, you're acting. You get to do the whole kit and caboodle.
There you go.
So, and that's the other reason why, I kind of just said, screw it, I'm going to go the indie route.
Well, you're talking about the control, right? That
Yes.
you can do you retain more of that.
Yes. Whereas, if you go with a publisher, they can say, we don't want that. We don't want that.
True.
We want you to sell us the rights to the book. You don't. Then if you do that, you don't have control of anything anymore.
True.
It's like that.
Because this is going to be a best-selling movie, and we're going to be a multi-million. I'm going to be a multi-millionaire.
I knew that was coming. Sorry, boys. Out of the way. See ya.
It just fell over. My multi-millionaire.
Better get that teenage money.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you do lose, all that stuff, and you can't control the characters anymore. And I've heard that from big-time authors, like, who become big with certain characters, and, like, I don't... one of the guys who actually, kind of inspired me to do this, R.A. Salvatore, who also wrote a Star Wars book. He's the one who killed off Chewbacca.
What?
Yeah. But he's like...
That's a popular guy.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And he said, everybody's getting mad at me. He's like, you guys don't understand how many control
He got
over
his
this.
head chopped off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he's like,
It was bad.
It was really bad, yes. But he's like,
Thanks
you
for
got to
putting me in a
realize,
funk.
we as authors don't have control over that. We don't get to decide if the character, we might want
Just
to.
write
Might
it
say,
down. What?
This is what we want to do? But whoever owns that, like, so, Lucasfilms gets to say, or whatever, Disney, they get to say, yes, you can kill off Chewbacca, or no, you can't, or you know what,
But
you're
now
going
you have
to
to
kill
add
off
in Jar
Chewbacca.
Jar. You're like, great.
Yeah, exactly. You kill off Chewie, and you don't kill off Jar Jar. Really. Really.
Yeah, it was kind of the same series where they were trying to close off a lot of character arcs. So they're like,
Yes.
okay, we're gonna show Chewbacca's end, and then
Destroy the Millennium Falcon.
Well, I think the
Did
droids
Somewhere they
went to
crashed
like a
it.
junkyard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he wrote all that?
Yeah.
No wonder they wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a good idea of like. You open the idea of, what, we want to close the loops, we want to end the arc. And
let's start with something new.
Yeah, and everybody's thinking that, everybody just, flies off into the sunset, they live happily ever after. Like,
No.
kill the Wookiee.
Yeah. Kill the big dog. He's dead.
Oh my gosh.
But he talks about his other character that made him popular, his character Driss, who's a dark elf. And he's like, I don't have any control over any of that anymore. I don't get to decide what happens with that, even though I created it.
Yeah.
It came from my mind. I created it. In fact, how he created that character, his main character, which is now kind of the few reviews I've heard, that's what's happening to me. My romance character is not the character that people like. They like the Kaladin and Quinn character. And that was him. He went into the meeting, and this Wolfgar character, this barbarian, was supposed to be his main character. And they said, well, he needs a sidekick. He's like, well, I don't have a sidekick for him. He said, oh, okay, it'll be a dark elf, and his name will be Drist. And that's the character that took off.
Oh, you never know what people connect with.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And so they connected with that character.
Wow.
He created it, and then they just, after he did the first 3 books, they're like, well, thanks, but no thanks. We don't want you to write it anymore. Yeah. But we want to write this other guy. Write a book about this Drist character for us.
Wow.
Well, it's just like Boba Fett. You know, you get
Boba Fett.
Yeah, you get the guy that has the one line, and it's supposed to be just a side character that kind of moves the story arc of Han, you know, being captured and going to the Huts, and everybody's like, that character is so cool. Who is that? Yeah. Who's that guy with the armor?
And now what do we have? The Mandalorian,
like, no,
right?
No. We have, you know, Leia and Luke. And they're like, no.
Him. That guy. Yeah. And you never know what people are going to gravitate towards. Yeah. And so for Salvatore, what happened to him is that it was called TSR at the time. They owned that. Wizards of the Coast bought them, and they took that guy's book that wrote about Drist, shelved it, called him back up and says, we want you to write this character. And he took off from there and just made him a millionaire.
Wow.
So,
yeah, you just never know.
You don't know.
And timing, I think timing's all good too. With, you know, things not during, well, this is obviously, you're doing this live, we're doing COVID, but.
We are? Where's our masks? Oh, we're going to get in trouble. Hold on.
Wait, no, it's.
My name is Gary Avance. I live at 1124 Terracina.
Drury Way.
Right, Drury Way, that's right. But the thing is, a lot of people are, you know, maybe take advantage of getting some of these books written, so it's a good time to get something new out there. People are looking for new stuff.
Yeah. Yes, because you know, if you're quarantined and you like to read, and you like to read fantasy or sci-fi, like what you write.
Right.
You know, it's a time to pick up some new authors because you got time on your hands.
What else are you gonna do?
What do you want people to get out of your book?
Yes.
You know, I want them to get I want them to see the humor that I present, fun swordplay, good martial arts. I want them to kind of see my, you know, the struggles of faith. You know, because that's been my struggle to a certain extent, and how you know, fit your faith with logic. And I think Kaladin helps romance understand that. Learning not to judge people by their race, but by themselves individually. You know, get a little philosophy, and just enjoy, hopefully an enjoyable story is what I want. I mean, number one, you want them to enjoy that, but I hope they get all those different sort of themes, and they're able to pick all those different things out of my book. Right. I try not to just be a straight, like, let's just go in and we'll just kill stuff with a sword, and then that's the end, and then we walk away in the sunset happily. I wanted to add more to my story than just that.
Sure. Yeah. And then take away. Right?
Yes, and that people could take more away than just, that was a fun story. Hopefully they get a little more out of it is what I'm hoping for.
Gotcha.
It'll something a little deeper.
Do you have anybody on Facebook Live that has any questions? I see a couple names. What do you say up there, Rudy?
Are you kidding me?
No. Anybody on there? Anybody there? What do you got?
Oh, it was just a Deanna says hello, everybody.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Deanna.
Glad you can come by.
Hi.
Yeah. So, John, why don't you go ahead and tell your audience where you're, we're sweating to death, just so you know, in here. It is summertime.
What do you want me to tell them?
Well, tell them how to get your book.
Okay, you can go to johndpepe.com. That's johndpepe.com. The D is for dynamite.
Right.
And for the ladies, delicious.
Okay,
my wife hates when I say, you know what my wife will say? My wife will say that D's for dipshit. And my friends will say dumbass. So. Well, not these guys. They call me dork.
It means Daniel.
Well, we think things.
Dingleberry. Yeah.
Dork. That's all good.
So.
And they all fit in.
Yeah, so johndpepe.com. You can see us. There's pictures of us on there. There's our God Among Geeks, so you can go and read some of our blogs. You can get some of our
podcasts.
Yes. Yeah, you can get some of our
I did see those pictures, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. There was some where you're flexing and covering, like, my face.
I was. Like, get out of here, Rudy. Rudy's like, come on, man, let me see.
I want to be a part of it.
I want to be an author. Well, good stuff, man. Well, thank you for letting us. We didn't torment him till we could have, but we didn't.
I thought they were going to, because usually we torment him about his book.
Right.
Chronolosity,
I'm sure that'll
right?
come
There you
right
go.
back.
There's your plug. Chronolosity.
Nice.
You paid me $5 to say that. Chronolosity. No, $5. Not
$5.
$55.
You can pick it up at your local Walgreens.
That's right.
Yeah, if you go to the Rite Aid and you go to the book section, where there's like 14 books, you can pick his book up there.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Poor book. Poor
When
me.
is your book out?
Well, actually, what's great is
I'm glad you said that.
I was
Yes.
waiting for you to ask me.
well, look on the shelf over there. No, I'm sort of I went through. I took my book and went through, and someone did pop up, and
What's that?
getting it. I've got some beta readers, and it's right now. I'm waiting on our
Our editor, which I
Yes.
got you.
By the Hand Publishing.
Editing. No, by the hand editing.
Editing, right? Sorry.
Angie, John, and Melinda, I think. are
Right,
part of
yeah.
that,
So we're just waiting on. Well, actually, I took the route of trying to look at some self-publishing authors. We'll see how that works out. And small publishing, sorry. And then I'm hoping by the end of the summer, we'll get some stuff rolling. So
yeah.
we're good.
And if you're interested in, Stephen Novak did my cover.
Oh yeah,
So, and
great
he
job.
is quick and cheap. And it took him basically did pretty much this cover with the Ranger I didn't like. And I said, hey, can you change this? And 2 days later he had it done.
Yes.
So, and then I got a girl Paige Boggs, who's been helping me with sort of the marketing aspects. So it's been very helpful, blog tour and all that. Yeah. And then Angie and John Bennett,
Great stuff.
they're
gonna test. They did a
really
great job.
if you're into writing, they'd be people to look up.
And maybe out there you are looking at writing, let us know, because there's a lot of people to hook you up with, and a lot of people are going independent now. And there you go. That's a great start.
Yes.
Get your stuff out there.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Isn't it? Amazon.
Right.
You can do anything with Amazon.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
So
best of times and the worst of times.
and your book's going to be on Amazon, maybe, or
Amazon Kindle,
or are you
or
looking-
what is it? It's not CreateSpace anymore. What is it? Oh, it's
No, no.
KDP, right?
Yeah, it's KDP.
I think so. It seemed like that was the best deal. There's a couple other ones out there, but that might be the way to go. And you know what? You start and get it rolling and keep popping the books out.
That's what you hope for.
Be sure to leave the reviews on Amazon.
Please.
Yeah.
But only, okay, I just want you to do what my mother said. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Well, now I did make John
You're
a promise.
talking to the internet, right?
I did make John a promise. He wants me to give him 6 stars.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm gonna give him 5 star, and then we can add the other 1 star, and then he can figure it out.
Or he was talking about 6 one-star reviews.
I gave you 6 stars. I gave you 6 stars. Hey, Ron, real quick. You can't see Ron. He's incognito, but do you have any? Ron's reading the book as we speak.
Yes.
Did you have anything that you want to say about it?
Yeah, no. If you
Ron, I can't
if
see
you
you.
played the game like
Witcher?
Skyrim or Witcher, you'll like this book.
Okay.
Or Lord of the Rings movie type of. It's in that kind of genre. So if you're into those type of things, you will definitely
Adventure,
like
huh?
that book.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good.
Very fun. There you go. That's from the man in the chair. There
Thank you,
go.
Ron.
Yeah.
And
so,
Ron doesn't lie, usually.
right. But he can be had.
I that $5 that Gary gave me, I gave him to say that.
Right.
But yeah, leave the reviews. It helps a lot.
Oh, it
Oh,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for independent. The more positive reviews you get, the more your book kind of jumps up, and the more people it gets noticed, and hopefully the more people buy. And not that I'm looking to become, some rich and famous author, but I'd
Make
love to
your
be
impact,
a rich and
right?
famous author.
Wasn't that at the last page of the book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Make me rich, please.
Yeah, please,
Right.
please. I want to be a billionaire. Right? That's that song. Yeah.
Something like that. Oh my gosh.
But if people can leave 1 million reviews on a packet of Charmin on Amazon, you guys can take the time and review.
Yeah.
Which
come on.
not to bag on Charmin, such a great product.
It is an awesome
What about
product.
future sponsors?
Trying to get that Charmin money.
I just want to
We'll
say,
get it in the
my
end.
tush is very soft, very soft. Because I
Thanks for
use
sharing.
Charmin.
I can ride a
Take
bike
your word.
again.
I have a bidet.
Yeah.
Hey, you get Charmin. You don't need a bidet. A bidet's just wrong.
You can get a bidet. You can give yourself your own colonoscopy.
I know. That's why I don't do it. I don't want.
If I can get myself a bidet, I'd never leave the house.
Yeah, exactly.
This interview's going
Look,
great.
I don't really. I,
But
really,
this is pretty
I don't want
typical,
self-administered enemas. No, thank you.
Hey, this wouldn't be our normal show unless we had this kind of stuff.
Leaves your breath smelling fresh.
Wait, are you
Yeah,
drinking out of the toilet? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're like, what do you turn around?
I just realized I'm using it wrong, incorrectly.
Right. Exactly. And on that note,
All right, guys.
Bounty, the
thanks
quicker
for
picker upper.
Yeah, Neeks do have their, we know when. Boundaries, people. Anyway.
Wonderful boundaries.
Check it out. Check it out. Keep the support.
Please. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for, checking us out on Gottaman Geeks and Necology 101.
Yeah,
GottamanGeeks316.com, right? We are also on Necology 101, which is on, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio.
Right. Is it on Stitcher? It might be on
Where
Stitcher.
is it? Stitcher?
Yeah. A few other places. iTunes or Google Play. Is on
Google Play, yeah. Yep. So it's
wherever
all
you're
over.
listening to most podcasts.
Yeah, John's been an important part, of our lives and this whole process of Necology and Gone Among Geeks and super proud, that you're able to get this out and, just really hope for the best.
He's going to get emotional and that's good.
We're proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep on, keep it on, man. There you go. So,
Quick
and Ron will write
and
music.
If you guys ever need podcasting,
Lone Wolf.
No, it's not Lone Wolf. I'm the Lone Wolf.
He's Lone Wolf.
He's Wolf Moon
Too
Productions.
many wolves in the woods. Right.
So
right.
Wolf Moon Productions. He does great work. Who are you working with?
Himself.
No, I know, but you're working with.
He's got a couple podcasts.
Oh no, the other one.
Yeah.
Angel Michael Medium.
Angel Michael Medium, and that's it. And but did they have something going on with? You said there was some.
Oh yeah. They're,
Oh, okay, never mind.
God,
all right,
okay.
never mind.
It's
We
a
won't
secret.
say it. It's a secret.
Right. Oh gosh.
All right.
All right.
All right, I think that's all our plugs.
That's it. I'm so Gary.
Still John.
Still Rudy.
And class is dismissed.
Thanks for listening to Necology 101. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on what's new in the fandom universe. You can find Necology 101 on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. We love to hear from our fans, and your input helps make this show possible. Find us on Facebook, Instagram at God Among Geeks, or you can contact us at necology101class@gmail.com. We know there's a lot of good choices out there, and we appreciate you listening. Because we are still the Knights who say,